the unfair hands that the Nigerian public is being dealt with, let's talk about movements. Movements like NSAS and the Obedient Wave showed public hunger for change. But why did this effort struggle to translate into lasting political power? Is it that the country is not ready for such a transformation? Or will it take generations to dismantle this entrenched system?
You see, when you are organizing for power, you cannot organize for power by doing what those people in power are doing. You cannot organize for power by presenting an alternative that is not substantial, that's just, without substance, that is superficial. NSAS was great, it was powerful response, but NSAS had a problem. It was not organized around people who understood how to fight and fight to the end. So those of us who started NSAS were shunted aside because, of course, I was at that time in Abuja, restricted to Abuja. And then others who were declaring victory before the fight was over was what led to what NSAS did. And then what followed, which you describe as the Obedient Wave, wasn't about capturing power. It was about one political group replacing the other. And you saw the outcome. Why? Because when the opportunity came for that movement to have headbutted the system, they all folded up. Because you cannot ask a pack of lions to be led by a sheep and achieve victory. It's not possible. That is what happened with that movement. But I can tell you that a new movement is emerging, and we should be all guided, we should all join hands and ensure that this movement takes the power in the fight from online to offline, and we do it in a very sustained and sustainable way until we win. And that is happening. Young people are getting very conscious. You see a female copper last week. There's a 30 days challenge going on now. And, I like the fact that the elites are always deaf and dumb around when social movements are coalescing, because what ultimately happens is that they are caught unawares.
But when it comes to social movements, you know that NSAS ended because of the police brutality, when they were attacked with tear gas and what have you. So how far can they really go? How far can any protester really go when it comes to risking their lives?
It didn't end because there was police brutality. It was because there was no planning in place.
So you're saying if it was better planned?
Say that police would be brutal, that the army would have been brutal. If there was a response the day after the army attacked, NSAS would have cleaned up.
So what would you? So looking back now, looking back, what could have been done?
But the people who were leading NSAS were using NSAS for negotiation. They were using it for creating content. They were using it for personal popularity, and that's
not fair. People died.
When we had conversation with them, they said, "No, we don't want leadership. There is no social movement in the world that don't have leaders that have ever succeeded." They said, "No, this is a leaderless movement. There's nothing like a leaderless movement."
So what do you think went wrong?
Let me just talking about.
What do you think went wrong? No, Chude, before you finish.
Sowore has mentioned.
What did you think went wrong with NSAS?
No, I've told you what went wrong with NSAS was that
there was no leadership.
The NSAS leaders of course there was leadership, but they were lying that they don't want leaders. But they were having conversation with Tony Elumelu, Dangote on Zoom. They know themselves, and the ones that raised money were not allowing the money to reach the people who were really fighting the war for the fight.
Okay.
Up to today, there are over 500,000 cryptocurrency monies that disappeared. The people who were involved in NSAS, who raised money for legal support, disappeared after NSAS. Up until last year, we were still getting people out of Ikoyi prison and other prisons in Lagos who were detained for NSAS. Ask yourself, where is feminist.co that raised all the money and said that, we are in charge now, we don't want anybody else? The moment it happened, what happened to them? Why did they pack up? That is not how social movements are organized. So that's why I'm telling you that they knew what they did, and one day the truth will come out. But beyond that, the moment they were done with NSAS, they went and used NSAS progress or NSAS gains into a political movement that took them nowhere. And it was because of greed or naivety or inexperience. Or, I don't know what it could have been, that you have an NSAS movement, it had that great opportunity, and you went and chose for the movement a person to gain from the movement who was part of SARS when he was governor. What kind of counterintuitiveness intuitiveness is that? It was just counter-revolutionary positioning that ended NSAS tragically. But that story will be told at another time,
Okay.
but we know what happened.
So
and
let's
those
have
people who did it knew themselves.
Okay. Chide, you were going to say something, so go ahead. You were going to say something, so go ahead.
Yeah, you know, the NSAS, whether it succeeded or not, was a clear warning to the people that are holding this country down. The hashtag End Bad Governance, whether it succeeded or not, was a clear warning to those people who have misgoverned this country. And what these movements, you know, the message they are sending is that the time will come, the day of reckoning will come. So let those who have ears hear. Those people who think that, you know, who are sitting pretty today, and they think that all is well. All is not well in our country. The vast majority of our people are living in absolute penury. They are suffering. Many of them do not have access to medical care, even basic medical care.